Hi everybody, welcome back to Bobby's Bucks, and today I wanted to share the story about how I harvested this buck on public land. And it was one of those gut-punching moments when you get to your stand and you realize the wind prediction from the Weather Channel is not correct. And when you get to the stand and the wind is wrong, you have these battling voices going on saying you should move, or maybe you'll be okay, maybe you'll get away with it. Well, I'm glad that I listened to the voice that's told me to move, because exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all about what I did, and hopefully you guys can take away a valuable lesson from this buck. So I get to my stand, and before daylight, I'm all set up. And my bow is ready, my heaters are going, everything's perfect, I didn't forget anything, and the wind was wrong. The wind was dead wrong. It was like every puff of air is just carrying my scent straight into the swamp, right where I knew the bucks were gonna be checking, right where I knew all the does were bedded. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't want to get down. I was comfy, my heaters were going, and it was early, and I was thinking maybe they won't smell me. Everything was treated. I went really to the full extent of treating everything, but that's the exact thought that ruins more hunts. So as much as I didn't want to, I climbed down. You ever try to sneak out of a stand quietly when every step sounds like you're stepping on a bag of Doritos? That was today. The leaves were so crunchy. I was walking through this acorn flat and everything, it was just potato chips. So I decided to circle all the way around the swamp the long way to set up on the downwind side. I didn't have a stand, I just had my bow, and I was just hoping that everything was gonna work out. And here's where it gets interesting. I'm making my way all the way around, and I get to where I want, and I find this old abandoned tree stand. It threw me off. I walked past it twice before I took a closer look at it, because it had these bright neon straps, but I got closer and everything was rusty. So I figured, you know what, why not? So I step up, and it's only about 8 feet off the ground. And sometimes the woods just throws these opportunities at you. So I climbed in. So there I am mid-morning, sitting in this relic of a tree stand that smells like raccoon pee and WD-40, and it's quiet, like not even a squirrel breaking a stick. Now, I did see some squirrels, but I didn't see any deer. I was surprised too, because it was a nice cold 30-degree morning. So okay, I've got good wind, good cover, maybe a buck's bedded in the swamp. 9:30 rolls around, nothing's happening. So I pull out the rattling antlers. I've got these little antlers that I take in that fit into my bag, and I start going crazy. Just a nice realistic 30-second sequence, and I try to really make it sound like two bucks sizing each other up. Not like a lot of people that I hear in the woods that sound like two moose having a demolition derby. I text my wife about 9:50, you know, nothing's happening, I might be home for breakfast here pretty soon. For about 45 minutes, I'm sitting there second guessing myself, like I just scared off all the deer in the country. About 10:20, I catch movement out of the corner of my eye, and sure enough, this buck is slipping out of the swamp. I see hoofs coming under the trees, nose down, doing exactly what bucks do, checking scent trails, trying to find a doe. He's cautious but curious, that classic post-rut cruise. I just kept telling myself, please be a good buck, and then I seen his rack. The one thing I did right was I spent my time ranging all the trees around there, so I knew that tree was 20 yards, the tree that he was going by was 14 yards, and he's actually hung up broadside between these two limbs, and I was about to actually shoot him through the crotch of the tree because I was worried there was some brush there. If he would have turned, he could have went into that brush. So I drew back. Right as I was going to find my kisser button, I realized my kisser button was bumped and it wasn't there. So I decided, never mind the kisser button, I'm just gonna focus on my sight, because I anchor my sight, I anchor my peep sight. I have all these different anchors to ensure I still can make a good shot. Right when I was trying to find my kisser button, he started walking, and he came out right into the open, and he walked right by that tree that I ranged at 14 yards. Quartering slightly, walking up this hill, I drew back, settled my pin, and I squeezed, and it was a perfect shot. The arrow blasted right through him, double lunged him, he ran up the hill. So I just sat there for a minute in that old creaky stand thinking, if I'd stayed in that original spot, this deer would have winded me 100%. I wouldn't even have gotten a shot.
This buck came out, and I was about to shoot him right through this window, but he ended up walking. He was still walking. I ended up shooting him at 14 yards. I just hit it with the rangefinder. He ran up to the top of the hill, and he circled around. I knew it looked like he was in trouble, and then he crashed. He fell down. I think he's dead right there on the top of the hill. Ran right over this. Right there. Still haven't found my arrow. Oh, I found him though. Oh, he's piled up right there. I sat there for about 45 minutes waiting for the wind to correct itself, and it just didn't. So I ended up getting down, walking around the swamp to go down to get downwind, because I was trying to hunt a downwind side of a bedding area, trying to get a buck to come in, and he just got done scent checking the whole bedding area. He was coming out, and I got him at 14 yards. I was actually about to shoot him through this little window between two branches, but he just kept walking, so it was perfect. I got a nice clear shot of him, and I was only hunting 8 feet off the ground. There's this stand that's been out here on public land for years, so I elected to sit in that.
Often people don't want to move, and I don't make a habit of it, but when it comes to the wind, don't get emotionally attached to a tree stand. You know, we all do it. So we scout, hang stands, put in the work, then we convince ourselves that we have to stick to it, even if the wind's bad. But sometimes making the tough call, moving, can turn a bad situation into a good situation. So it's not about luck, it's just about adapting. And the deer, they're always adjusting due to the wind and the pressure and the scent, the temperatures. We should too. And that's hunting. It's not always comfortable. It's not always convenient, but sometimes you got to change the game plan, and it can be rewarding. So if you take one thing away from this story, just trust your gut, trust the wind, and don't be afraid to move if the wind isn't the way that you thought it was going to be. That decision might just be the one that fills your tag. Now, I actually already registered this buck. That's why the tag isn't on this buck. I'm about to process it, but you know, I hope you enjoyed this story. Hit that like button, drop a comment about your craziest wind switch hunt, and subscribe for more real world lessons from the field. I hunt public land, you guys, so you know, these stories, it's always going to be different. It's always going to be something public land related. So until next time, hunt smart, stay safe. Sometimes the best stand is the one that you didn't even plan on sitting in. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.